if her private Paris bootmaker can make her movie shoes. Do we need to know this, that poor Audrey Hepburn got sore feet and needed special shoes?
Well, I think it's the kind of thing that it's great to learn about an actress. We think of them, sort of put them on a pedestal, but really she was a regular person, and obviously a very, very charming one.
And a great star who knew what she needed to do her best work. Bette Davis was like that. Warner Brothers' biggest star, 2 Oscars, famous for this immortal line in All About Eve.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Years before Eve, Bette Davis was exhausted, overworked, no rest for the Queen of Warner.
They just kept putting her in more and more films.
Again, Barbara Hall, co-author of the book Letters from Hollywood.
She felt like she needed more time between projects.
Bette Davis wrote, again by hand, to studio head Jack Warner, protesting her contract. Studios owned their stars in those days. Davis wanted to make fewer pictures every year, more time off between pictures. She ended her very firm letter,
"Would appreciate your not communicating with me. It upsets me very much."
and she adds, also, arguing with me is no use. Another letter writer in this collection is Hattie McDaniel, the first African-American to win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress as Mammy in 1939's Gone with the Wind.
You've been brave so long, Miss Scarlett. You just gotta go on being brave.
McDaniel was a busy actor in the 1930s and 40s, always playing a maid or servant. In 1947, she thanked gossip columnist Hedda Hopper for printing kind words about her, but others criticized her for taking so many servant roles. McDaniel wrote,
Truly, a maid or butler in real life is out making an honest dollar, just as we are on the screen.
McDaniel goes on,
I only hope that the producers will give us Negro actors and actresses more roles, even if there will be those who call us Uncle Toms.
the NAACP and other civil rights organizations had started pressuring studios to get rid of stereotypical roles like McDaniel was playing, the only parts African Americans could get then. The protests had a bitter result for the Oscar winner.
Hattie McDaniel found that she was getting fewer and fewer roles because they weren't writing as many roles like that in the immediate post-war years.
Finally, at least the last correspondence I've picked from the 137 items in this book, a telegram to director William Wyler, sent in 1937 by an extremely precocious star-to-be.
Warner Brothers Studio. I admire your pictures and I would like to work for you.
Rocky Lang, co-author of the book, reads the cable.
I am 18 minutes old, blonde hair, blue eyes, weight 8 pounds, and I have been called beautiful. My father was an actor. Jane Seymour Fonda.
The real author of the telegram was Henry Fonda. In his reply to the new baby, director Wyler contradicted the cable. Wyler typed, "Your father never was an actor." He also said he wanted to make a test of little Jane as soon as possible. Guess she passed the test. Correspondence from Letters from Hollywood. The subtitle is Inside the Private World of Classic American Movie Making. Peter Bogdanovich, director, The Last Picture Show, writer, actor, film historian, wrote the book's foreword. I asked him one question, the decision to publish them. I mean, they were very personal letters, star to director, star to studio head. Is it an invasion of privacy now to publish them?
I don't think so. It's history.
I'm Susan Stamberg, NPR News. It's Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm Noel King.
And I'm Steve Inskeep.
And I'm Jennifer Lynn in Philadelphia. We've got the BBC News Hour coming up for you. It's WHYY 90.9, your NPR member station at 8:59.
WHYY monitors traffic and transit for major delays, supported by Salesforce.
This is WHYY FM Philadelphia, WNJN FM 89.7 Atlantic City, WNJZ 90.3 Cape May Courthouse, WNJB FM 89.3 Bridgeton, WNJM 89.9 Manahawkin, and WNJS FM 88.1 Berlin.
Coming up on The Why today, reporter Nina Feldman explains why it's hard to tell if the smoking ban at city-funded inpatient addiction treatment centers is helping or hindering people in recovery. The Why tonight at 5:45 p.m. on WHYY FM, or listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. More Morning Edition for you starting tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll be here for you. It's got sunshine, 62 degrees. It's 9 o'clock. Welcome to NewsHour from the BBC World Service. I'm Razia Iqbal. Two big constitutional and legal stories today. The UK Parliament is back in session after the devastating judgment from the Supreme Court that the government broke the law. Some in government characterise the decision as a constitutional coup, prompting this question from the opposition.
Does the Attorney General believe that yesterday's judgment of the Supreme Court represented a constitutional coup? And if he does not share that view, could he explain to the House why he thinks that that is wrong?
And President Trump faces an impeachment inquiry. We speak to a Democratic Party senator.
I do believe that if the president has been orchestrating an effort to try to get foreign power to interfere in an American election, that is impeachable. I think it's unquestionably impeachable.
To stay with us first, the latest world news.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jim Kane. The U.S. House is now officially conducting an impeachment inquiry into President Trump. Later today, Trump is expected to release a transcript of his July 25th phone call with the president of Ukraine, a conversation that prompted a federal whistleblower to raise a red flag, leading to official impeachment proceedings. From Kiev, NPR's Lucian Kim reports the Ukrainian leader is confident about his planned meeting with Trump later today.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a video statement from New York that he expects to have great relations with the U.S. and that he expects to invite President Trump to Ukraine during their meeting today. A whistleblower in the U.S. government filed a complaint following a July 25th phone call in which Trump reportedly pressured Zelensky into launching an investigation into former Vice President Joe Biden. While Trump said he will release a transcript of that phone call, Zelensky told CNN the conversation is private and confidential.
NPR's Lucian Kim. British lawmakers have savaged Prime Minister Boris Johnson as Parliament resumed following its illegal suspension. NPR's Frank Langford reports from London.
Opposition lawmakers unleashed their fury on Johnson's government the day after the UK Supreme Court dealt the Prime Minister a severe blow, saying he'd broken the law by shutting down Parliament for 5 weeks. Party chairman, a legislator with Labour, the main opposition party, and Geoffrey Cox, the country's Attorney General, who had backed the suspension.
It really is about
Betsy Barlow.
no shame today, no shame at all. The fact that this government cynically manipulated a prohibition that's wrapped up on this house, somebody couldn't work as a democratic assembly. He knows that that is the truth.
Cox insisted the government and urged Parliament to challenge Johnson's Conservative Party in the general election. Frank Langford, NPR News, London.
Investigation shows the FAA may have misled Congress about the credentials of some safety inspectors who certified pilots to fly Boeing 737 MAX planes. MAX 8 aircraft.
Many songs I hear on Word FM become prayers from my heart going up to God. I love that.
Counsel Henry Kerner said, "What they may fail you to restore safety and technical competency, but flying pilot at this." The company agreed that Mr. Strickland wasn't just flights,
David Schaefer, NPR News. Features for John just out at this hour. You're listening to NPR.
Put us up over 25 minutes.
BBC World Service. It comes to you live from London. Today, major constitutional issues on both sides of the Atlantic as British MPs return to Parliament after the government suspension was thrown out of court, and a Democratic Party member of Congress seeks to impeach President Trump. Those are our main stories today. Also today, the author Ian McEwan tells us about how he tackled Brexit in his satirical novella, The Cockroach.
We lurch from one extraordinary development to another, and you get to a point of despair, and then just beyond despair lies laughter. Laughter comes setting.
Stay with us for that. More from Ian McEwan towards the end of today's programme. We begin though with the constitutional crisis surrounding Brexit here in the UK after the devastating and unanimous Supreme Court ruling on Tuesday. The government acted unlawfully when it suspended parliamentary business. The House of Commons has been open for business today. Not surprisingly, the atmosphere has been highly charged and rowdy. The Prime Minister Boris Johnson flew back from the UN General Assembly meeting overnight and is expected in Parliament shortly. What Mr Johnson decides to do is, of course, critical. His current position appears to be to tough it out in the face of many calls for his resignation. A short while ago, in a raucous Houses of Parliament, Hilary Benn, the opposition Labour MP, he was the chair of the Brexit Select Committee, asked a pertinent question of the government's chief legal advisor, Attorney General Geoffrey Cox.
Does the Attorney General believe that yesterday's judgment of the Supreme Court represented a constitutional coup? And if he does not share that view, could he explain to the House why he thinks that that is wrong?